few months ago, I bought coconut flour for the first time in my life. It grabbed my attention on the shelf because it was much cheaper than almond flour. I didn't know yet what to do with it. I thought I would just figure out. I ended up not doing anything with it. For months, it just sat in my cupboard. However, this week, I finally decided to make it my mission to learn how to use that flour. So if you are liking ideas like I did, I get you. I selected 5 recipes from breakfast, snack, lunch and dinner options that are all super easy, plant-based, refined sugar-free, nutritious and of course delicious. After dealing with low iron and hair loss, I'm currently on a journey to improve my health and feel more energized, partially through what I eat. And when I looked closer, what surprised me is how amazing coconut flour is compared to regular wheat flour. It contains more iron, it's much higher in fiber, so basically it keeps you fuller for longer. Interesting, right? So let me show you what you can do with it. Porridge. This is probably the simplest way to use this flour, or any flour to be honest. And I think it's a very nice alternative to oat porridge. You just need to mix your dry ingredients together, so coconut flour, and I'm using date powder as my sweetener. So if you're using a liquid sweetener, just add it with your wet ingredients. A pinch of salt, then add water and mix until there are no lumps left. Turn on the heat to medium and keep stirring as it thickens. It's very hard for me to say this word, thickens. No, I'm not sure I'm saying it right. For French speakers, the TH is very hard to pronounce. All right, let's continue, sorry. After a couple of minutes, you can add a bit of plant milk. So I'm just adding a 1/4 cup to make it a bit creamier. Actually, you can even use water. If you don't have milk, that's fine. And it's the moment to adjust the texture. If you want it more light, you just need to add more liquid. If you added too much liquid, you can add more flour. But be careful with the coconut flour because it's so absorbent. So I would suggest, if you ended up having it too liquidy, to add 1 teaspoon at a time. And in about 3-5 minutes, it should be ready. You can flavor it however you like, vanilla, cinnamon. I don't have any of those today, so I'm just keeping it simple and just focusing on the toppings. So today I'm going with my favorite berries, pumpkin seeds, and of course some peanut butter on top. The base is warm, not too sweet. The berries add freshness. The seeds bring a nice crunch, and the peanut butter just makes it even richer. It's very delicious, I think I said it. I need to be honest that the texture is more on the sandy side compared to oats or millet. Guys, have you tried millet porridge? Millet flour porridge is my favorite. I need to make a video about it. But anyways, this one, you can actually feel the fiber. I personally don't mind. It's actually very nice. On a rainy day like this is just perfect and so comforting. Pizza. This recipe surprised me the most. I made a pizza out of coconut flour. The trick here is psyllium husk. It's always psyllium husk. It helps replace gluten and gives you a dough structure to anything you want. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been using it all the time. I managed to make bread out of lentils, chickpea, quinoa, and this time we are using psyllium husk to make a pizza crust out of coconut flour. Just start by preheating your oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Then in a bowl, mix your dry ingredients, coconut flour, psyllium husk, and pinch of salt. Then add 1 tablespoon of melted coconut oil. You can also add olive oil or any oil you have. And a cup of hot water. So not boiling, just warm water around 60 degrees Celsius is perfect. And mix everything until the liquids are absorbed. Then knead the dough for about 1 minute. You will see that a ball will form very easily. So that's how it looks like. See? Perfect. And now we're going to let it rest. I'm going to cover it for 10 minutes. Once ready, the dough will be even spongier. Look at this. and just place it between 2 sheets of parchment paper and flatten it. You can of course use a rolling pin, but what I like to do is to use my cutting board and just press on the bowl, so that gives me like a very nice initial, almost perfect circle. And if you are strong enough, you might be able to press it to the final pizza crust shape, but I'm not strong enough, so I'm just finishing with the rolling pin. Try to not make it too thin. And then you can just shape the edges if you want. Of course, this is just for aesthetics purposes. You don't need to do that, but I'm making an effort for you, okay? And yeah, that's my crust. This is the thickness I went for, and it's not even. So if you end up also having it this way, don't stress, it's fine. I managed to make a crust of about 20 centimeters, a smaller one of about 15, and a semicircle. I'm sure you can do better than me. You can make one big circle piece. If you do, please send us a photo. Bake it for 20 to 25 minutes first without the toppings. That's very important, without the toppings, so that it can cook properly and doesn't become soggy, you know. Once baked, gently remove the crust from the baking sheet. It might stick at first, but it actually comes off if you are gentle and patient. But if you don't have any patience, you can also put a bit of olive oil on the parchment paper before placing the uncooked crust on it. I personally think it's not that necessary. Then add the toppings of your choice. And put it back in the oven for 10 minutes or until the toppings are cooked. I've been snacking on this since everything else is in the oven, and I must say it's actually very nice. You could use this as a kind of a pita. Look at the texture. Very bready. And that's it. The result is actually mind-blowing to me. The crust holds very well. Before you ask me, yes, it has a slight coconut flavor. Of course, I mean, it's made of coconut. But to be fair, the toppings balance it out. If you guys tried the quinoa pizza crust in the past, I personally prefer that coconut flour option. The texture is more interesting to me, it's more bready, and again, it's because of the magic of cinnamon husk. And I really enjoyed this pizza. It kept me full for very long. It's because of the high fiber content from the coconut and the cinnamon husk. Tortillas and wraps. Okay, so for this one, I'm cheating a little bit because we are using the same exact dough as the pizza crust. After the dough rested for 10 minutes, you just divide it into smaller pieces. Flatten them the same way. And shape them into nice circles. I could make about 5, 6 of them, and they are about 15 centimeters wide. And then you just cook them on a pan, no oil needed. And if you are using a stainless steel pan like me, you know how stainless steel is a bit more of a challenging pan, but it still worked. You just need to be a bit more patient, and it will stick at first, definitely, but once it's ready, it will release, okay? So just be patient and not stress. They are very nice. I had them for lunch with some salad and tofu. I also tried them with my homemade dates with Nutella because when I look at them, I could only see mini crepes. And honestly, it worked as well. You choose sweet or savory. Banana bread. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. When I made this the first time, I didn't love it straight away. because I made some mistake. But the next day, when I had it cooled down, I actually really enjoyed it. So that's why I thought it was still worth including it in this video, so let's make it. Start by preheating your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Then in a bowl, mash your very ripe bananas, the water, flaxseed meal, date powder, vanilla. Mix everything until it's well combined. Next, add the remaining dry ingredients, coconut flour, cinnamon, baking soda and salt. Stir again until you get a thick batter. It will be quite dense, not like a typical banana bread batter, and that's normal. Then line your loaf with parchment paper. I like to wet mine so that it molds better to the shape of the pan. Then transfer the batter into the pan. Press it down, after each spoon added, press it down. It needs to be very compact. And then bake for 50 to 55 minutes. And once baked, let it cool for 20 minutes, remove it from the pan, then let it cool completely before slicing. I didn't do that part. I just sliced it right away. You can see the steam. So try to be patient. It's a nice treat made of simple ingredients, it's refined sugar-free and plant-based. Cookies. Last but not least, this is probably the easiest recipe of all. I know that I said the porridge was easy, but I think this one is actually easier. We only need banana, coconut flour, and peanut butter. I love it because it's super quick. You can also adjust it depending on what you like or not. For example, banana. I don't know if you guys remember the trend around 2018 with banana oat pancakes. Yeah, I was one of the people that really didn't love it because of this strong banana taste. So if you are the same, you can easily swap that ingredient. I will show you how to do it, but let's start with the original version. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Then in a bowl, mash your ripe banana. Then add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and 1/3 cup of coconut flour. You can also add a teaspoon of date powder or the sweetener of your choice. If you want it a bit sweeter, for me it was sweet enough. Then mix everything together. You will be able to form small dough balls, about 5 of them for me. Place them on a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Then gently press them down. Optionally, you can use a fork to give them a nice pattern on top. Bake for about 15 minutes. It's time. Then let them cool completely before eating. And voila! They look very nice, right? Very simple cookies. Okay, now, as promised, if you do not like banana, we can swap it, okay? So I also made a version using melted coconut oil as fat, date powder as a sweetener, and plant-based milk to bind everything together. And it worked very well. I just kept it a bit longer in the oven, 20 minutes. And that's it. Simple, refined sugar-free, and so filling. Actually, after 2 cookies, I was already full. Usually I finish the pack by myself, okay? So that's a huge improvement. And I really enjoy them both with a cup of tea. It actually reminds me of when I lived in England. I used to love shortbread with breakfast tea. That combination, guys, was incredible. That buttery, melting texture in the mouth. I miss it a little bit. Of course, what we just did is not the same, so please don't come in the comments saying, it doesn't taste like shortbread. It's not meant to be. But it's more nourishing. It's refined sugar-free, so if you're trying to cut on sugar, I think it's an interesting option. Extra tips. Sometimes we just forget to actually read the packaging itself. It was my case. So depending on the brand, of course, they often give you a lot of useful information. For example, this brand that I found here in Germany, they included 1 recipe suggestion directly on the packaging. And the most interesting part is in the back when they explain to you exactly how you could use it. For example, you can use it to thicken your sauces, soups, stews, curries. because coconut flour is very absorbent. You can also add it to your smoothies, your breakfast bowls, as a way to add extra fiber or protein and give it a slight coconut flavor as well. So as you can see, there are many more ways to use it. And if you have any extra tips to share with us, feel free to drop them in the comments. It will be very useful for me and everybody else. And that's it, guys. I will of course put all the ingredients and the recipes on my Substack. I will link it below with extra tips for you to check. And please let me know in the comments which recipe you will try first. And as always, bon appétit, and I'll see you next week.